Hey guys, welcome back to the Mental Game podcast. I'm your host, Nico Mothra, and I hope everyone's having a brilliant week and day. You're probably wondering where I've been for these past 2 weeks, and the last episode I uploaded was with Azan, where we discussed mental health and medicine, more specifically the concepts in medicine regarding mental health, the different remedies we can equip in order to improve our mental fitness and practice mental fitness in our day-to-day lives. I also touched upon neuroscience and the different hormones and ideologies our brain creates and deals with on a day-to-day basis. That's the last episode I created, which was around 2 weeks ago. So what happened within these 2 weeks where I didn't upload a single episode? So last week I actually went back to my home city where essentially I was brought up and so on. And I'm not sure if I gave you a biography before creating this podcast, but essentially I was brought up in Dubai for most of my life for around, 14 to 16 years, a very long time. And I went back to Dubai last week to meet my family and friends and essentially just get a breather, clear my brain, clear my head, especially from all the chaos and constant movement at work, from studying, from learning, from, just grinding and trying to move up the ladder and all that stuff. Just taking your break, taking your breather, sitting down, having a discussion with the family and friends, and just realizing that there's much more. There's much more to striving for more or trying to target certain goals and visualizations. I'm very glad. I feel refreshed. Well, not so. I don't really feel that refreshed. I just came back today and had 1 hour of sleep, but yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll right now because I'm missing this mental fitness journey of improving all of our ways of thinking and deriving thoughts and so on. So, what am I going to talk about today? Because I'm a bit tired, to be honest. I'm going to talk about a small reflection. A small reflection I had when I was walking in Dubai around a lake, around a community lake where I live. And a small reflection is essentially what I've learned these past 2 to 3 months. So this past 2 to 3 months, it's been pretty interesting. I've been reading about the growth mindset. The growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. And especially a book written by Dr. Carol S. Dweck, who perfectly describes perfectly differentiates distinguishes the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And a few points I just want to touch upon or share, and essentially share my experiences and what I've done or what I've learned when practicing certain things in order to initiate the growth mindset and the certain benefits I've experienced. So essentially, what is a growth mindset and a fixed mindset? So a fixed mindset is a mindset which essentially believes that our qualities, like our intelligence, our capabilities, and so on, are unchangeable. They are fixed, unchangeable, set in stone, and cannot be altered in any specific way. On the other hand, the growth mindset believes that our qualities, like our intelligence and our capabilities, are changeable with effort and time. Now, just comparing and contrasting those two mentalities, we could just perfectly see which one is a bit more superior, which one can lead to a better thinking process or a better way of approaching and achieving goals. And that is a growth mindset. So let me give you a few examples. Failure. Especially, I'm going to talk about the failures I've had as of recently. So, having joined my recent job role, having trying to, integrate myself into the job role, because I have had many mistakes, many mistakes and failures. And previously I was looking at these mistakes as a do-all and end-all, and how the mistakes I'm making are really set in stone. They're really the representation of who I am. They're unchangeable, and I'm going to keep making these mistakes on and on and on. And this was very negative. This was pulling me down on a day-to-day basis. This was not encouraging. And it was not encouraging that or motivating me, which actually made me quite unhappy in a way. However, having read this latest book about the growth mindset, I decided to look at failures and mistakes as a time to grow, as a time to learn on how I can improve, what can I change next time around, what was a mistake, and how can I better utilize resources and people in order to prevent these mistakes from occurring again. So instead of looking at failures as a do-all and end-all, I looked at failure as a time to grow, time to become a better person, time to learn. So essentially it was a change in perspective which shifted from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. It was a simple change in perspective, believing that these failures do not dictate or set in stone who you are and what your capabilities are. These failures instead can be looked at as a pathway to learn, pathway to develop, pathway to grow. That was one learning. And with this growth mindset, there was astounding benefits, let me tell you. Astounding benefits. One of the benefits being the amount of learning I've gathered. The amount of openness I've gathered towards trying to learn, trying to grow. And also the benefit on my mental well-being. Instead of pulling myself down and believing that I am not capable ever, instead I was pulling myself up instead. I was saying, right, you've made a mistake, and that's brilliant. Because there's no other way to learn. There's no other way to grow without making a mistake. So it was just that optimistic mentality instead of that pessimistic mentality, the dark world dystopian mentality. You're adopting that utopia, that happy and that optimistic mentality where you believe that everything happens for a reason and everything can be looked at in a positive lens. So the last point or the other way the growth mindset can be initiated is where we believe that our intelligence is changeable or can be developed with time and effort. I've been practicing this my whole life, and I've sort of analyzed this, especially in high school, where I did take a mathematics course with hardly any prior mathematics knowledge. And according to that situation, I perfectly practiced the growth mindset because I believed that my little to none mathematics knowledge can be developed with time and effort. Hence, I could enroll and integrate myself into this mathematics course I've chosen in an easy manner. So likewise, if there's any situation where you feel that you're not too smart, you're not smart, but you don't have the knowledge, or you don't have the skills as of currently, for example, whether that's at work, whether that's at a specific sport, whether that's at a specific event or thing. If you are faced with any of those situations, if you change your perspective of believing that those are fixed qualities, if you change that to a mentality where you believe that your skills can be developed, whether that's in a specific sport or at work, it's a very powerful mentality. Because this motivates you to put in the work. It motivates you to rewire your brain, to challenging yourself, to improving, to challenging yourself, to growing and learning new capabilities and knowledge. And that's the power of the growth mindset in these situations. Because you look at your current state of life as improvable. You identify opportunities in the present moment to improve your qualities and attributes. That's a very powerful mentality to equip in these situations, that your intelligence is improvable in any situation, just with time and effort. And instead of pulling yourself down and telling yourself that you're not capable, your intelligence is not developable, it cannot be developed, sir. That's clearly harmful. So instead, rewiring your brain to thinking of these situations as time to grow, time to put in more effort and hard work in order to improve your skills, time to talk to more individuals, network, and so on. Time to just learn and gain knowledge. So that's the 2 points. I hope I was not waffling, and I feel I was sort of waffling in this in this episode, because I'm quite knackered today, but we're moving. So yeah, it's quite a short episode. Essentially, I just wanted to reflect upon the growth mindset and how I am ensuring that I equipped it in almost all situations where I feel pessimistic, where I feel that I'm pulling myself down, that I feel that I'm limiting my boundaries and setting restrictions on myself. So next time you're faced with failure, look at it as a time to grow. Next time you're faced with a contemplation of whether you're smart enough to do a specific task or a specific thing, look at it as a time to grow. Look at it as a time, or look at it as a period where you can, with time and effort, improve your intelligence and ability to do that specific task. So that's all. I think I'm gonna hit the deck now because I'm quite knackered, but I appreciate you guys listening to these episodes, and yeah, thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a good week ahead of you. It's currently Sunday. Wish you guys all good health and prosperity at work, at home, at uni, or at school. And yeah, have a great day, and see you guys next week. Bye bye.